it was the pursuit of the American dream. And for my parents, it was about allowing us an opportunity to be anything we wanted to be, to get an education. That is 100% every Indian, Pakistani culture. Like, education is so important. So I was a really great student. I'm the firstborn, eldest daughter, all the things. And I loved my childhood. Like, I loved, see my parents work really hard. Everything wasn't perfect, but we had the best family values. Like, I was surrounded by so much confidence around me. My dad would wake me and my brother up every morning, and he was this like loud energy, like 4 a.m, wake up kind of guy. Every morning he'd wake us up and he'd say, Sunny, that's my nickname. He'd say, you have it. Like, that is what I grew up around. Every single day, somebody telling you that you have it. And it was the most annoying thing. They're just our biggest champions. My brothers and I's biggest champions. And so you carry that level of like responsibility. You want to succeed. You want to do well. And growing up in also a Muslim household, like, I didn't feel at all like my gender. Like, I was just the eldest kid. And so that meant that I got to do everything first. Like, I never felt my gender until I went into the workforce.
Wow, that's, yeah.
Not even in college. In college, like, I went to University of Florida. We had like 3 championships in my 4 years of college. I studied abroad. I did all of these amazing, cool things. And then I get into the workforce and I saw that there were no women at any of the companies that I worked for. I worked for 3 different companies. And the only women that I saw working in the organizations were in either customer support or in admin roles. There was nobody in technology. There was nobody in anything else besides supporting roles. And that was the first time that I was like, I'm different. For the first time, I noticed my difference. And I think it was that confidence. I never had that negative self-talk. And the self-talk actually started to get created at that point in my early 20s. But I never had that going into it. And so I feel super grateful. And I think that's how I try to parent as well, is you can't overlove a kid. Like, that's where the confidence comes from, especially for young girls. Because in a world like today, no one is telling them. And then their negative self-talk, because of how the world looks, because of the inequities that are plainly there, we start to form those conversations in our own head. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so grateful that I had super cheerleaders that I didn't even know that I was rolling my eyes at, that really carried me through, where I was like, no, I am different and I do have it and I can see things differently. So I was that bad employee. I would challenge the status quo. And then I had this really amazing idea to go start a subscription-based processing system. And I took it back to my male bosses and I was pretty much laughed out of the room. Like, it was, little girl, great ideas, but this is not going to work. And so I came back home and I flew back from Houston with family dinners. That was always something. We always were around food and family. And my dad looks to me and, was so disappointed in how the conversation went. And he said, Sunny, he goes, why don't you just go start the company? And I said, Dad, where do I go find Mr. Visa? Like, how? I'm 25. Like, where do I go build a fintech? I don't know. And he said, you'll figure it out. And so that's exactly what I did. And I moved back into my parents' house. And he's like, and if you don't, in 6 months, you'll get your MBA. Right?
I loved what you said about the idea that you can't overlove someone. Like, that's beautiful to hear. And I always feel that my mom's love was like that for me. I always grew up believing I was lovable. My mom's love shielded me from so much of the other pain and stress and everything else I saw happening around me. And a lot of what you just said about women, I see to be so true today, because I've seen research and studies that show that if a man sees a job specification and can do less than half of it, he'll still apply. And if a woman sees something, and even if she can do 80% of it, she won't apply because she can't do the 20% remaining. And so even when I talk to my male friends today, and I know a lot of their wives and partners and girlfriends and whatever else it may be, they all find that so many women are scared to go out there and start a company. They're scared to take that risk. They're fearful that they can't, or they're waiting till they have everything, like all their ducks in a row, before they give themselves an opportunity. How did early on in your life, your dad saying this repetitive statement to you, how did that not become a pressure? And how did it feel empowering? Because I feel that sometimes if you're told you've got it, you can do this, a lot of people see that as pressure and then they feel they can't live up to it. What was different about the parenting aspect of that? Because I think a lot of parents listening may take a lot from what your dad did, right?